What's going on? Cammy Cloud here, and I just wanted to. It's currently well after midnight. It's 1:50 a.m. My roommates are gone for the night, so it's just me here in the apartment, and I can't really go to sleep, fall asleep right now. So, time for some more self-reflection, right? So, yeah. Um, this should be a shorter topic. Um, Last time I kind of hopped on the mic, I talked a little bit about my personal struggle with needing to be the center of attention and just kind of going through that. So, yeah. I guess I wanted to flip it on its head now and kind of tackle something I struggle with of trying to get validation or get the approval of others around me when it's really not worth my time to do so. And I think it's something a lot of other people can struggle with too, of just spending so much time and energy into people who just don't really deserve it or aren't worth it. Um, in high school, now I was not the most, what do you call it? I was kind of quirky, I guess. I didn't fit the mold. I went to a very small school. It was a private school, and so there was one group of friends that kind of ran everything, and I was kind of a part of that group, but I really wasn't, and I spent a lot of time trying to be accepted by that group of people, but I just wasn't. I was an outcast. Now, part of that is my own fault, you know, but I was sort of I had some growing up to do. I was pretty immature at times, and I was also very impulsive. And so while I was funny, I was I was well liked by a lot of people, but um, I'm also just at the time I wasn't. I was kind of a mixed bag. It was kind of a coin flip of whether or not I was going to be tolerable and actually fun to be around, or if I was going to be um, why did we invite him? He's just causing issues. And so I understand that aspect of it. But also, just I could take a joke. I could, I had thick skin, and I was very easy to make fun of because I was so different. I didn't fit the mold. And these people knew that, and I was constantly a punching bag for these people. I guess it was because they felt insecure about themselves, and they needed somebody to make fun of, and I was very easy to make fun of. I was different, and I could take it, and I was very self-deprecating in my humor too, um, and also just me. I needed their approval, and I needed to be accepted. So hey, if you want to make fun of me, that's okay. Like let's make fun of Cameron, because at least you're showing me attention, which kind of ties back into the thing I talked about last time or the last video I uploaded. But like that just was it was an abusive relationship. It was toxic. They didn't care about me. I was just a way for them to fuel their own egos. Like, look at this guy we can make fun of. And that's not anything you want to be a part of. I remember specifically, um, my junior year of high school, there was this place in town called Your Pie. Your Pie, if you're unfamiliar, is a restaurant. It's kind of like Subway or Jersey Mike's, but for pizza. And so you get to choose your own ingredients and kind of make your own pie. Well, they make the pie for you, but you choose what goes on it and you make it yours, right? So it's basically Subway, but for pizza. Well, our local Your Pie, every Tuesday night, did what was called Trivia Night. And I don't know if you guys have ever been to a Trivia Night at a restaurant, but you show up, you get however many like sticky notes or whatever, and they ask questions. Sometimes it would be themed and everything, and then you hand them off to answer them, or you hand them off to the guy who's on the intercom. Well, I usually had work on Tuesdays. I had a job. Oh, sorry, I should have censored that. I had a job. But anyway, a trigger warning next time. But I had a job, and I usually worked Tuesdays. So I could never usually show up. Well, this group of people that kind of ran the school and was like the main friend group. Everybody that was anybody was in that friend group, and I was sort of in it. Do you know how like that thing where there's like the main group chat and then there's like the B group chat where you put people who kind of want to be in the group but you don't want them in there. You put them in the B group chat where you know are active maybe every now and then, but there's the other group chat with everybody except that one person or except those few people. Well, I was in the B group chat. I was the one person who was not in the main group chat. I was in the G League, for lack of a better term, right? And I finally had a Tuesday off. They were always talking about trivia this, trivia that. I had never been because I had work, and I finally got a Tuesday off, and so I texted the group chat because I thought it was the main group chat. I never knew anything about another group chat. I texted the main group chat. I was like, "Hey guys, are we going to trivia tonight? Do we have plans to go to trivia? I could finally come, so I wanted to see if we were going." Radio silence, no response whatsoever. An hour later, it's coming up to that time. It starts at 7. Now it's 6:30. Guys, are we doing trivia? Nothing. So I didn't go because I thought nobody was going. And I was wondering, well, why aren't they responding? Come to find out, the lead person of that group, she purposely told everybody. They all conspired to not respond to me because they didn't want me there. And I found out from another mutual friend that she was proud of it. She was bragging and proud of their little plan to exclude me. And yeah, that hurt. It still does. But that really hurt. And I should have just dropped them right then and there. I should have. But I didn't. And time again, there would be times where I would crash out, because I was prone to doing that, because I was struggling with a lot of things mentally that I now have figured out, and I was very impulsive and immature, had a lot of growing up to do, and there were times when I could just blow up on people. Well, I blew up on this girl who kind of led things, and then she went to the actual group chat where my best friend was a part of it. At the time, he was my best friend. He still is one of my good friends, but he didn't really know what was going on with me and them, and he just was a part of the main group chat. He didn't really do stuff with them. And she, because I kind of crashed out on her, started making fun of me in that group chat that I wasn't in. "Hey guys, I'm Cameron," and crying emojis, whatever, and then "Oh, why does nobody want me in the friend group? Why does nobody want me in the friend group? I'm Cameron." And that was just so immature of her, because keep in mind, she's a senior in high school at this time. Senior. 17 years old. Maybe actually 18. Grown adult. Grown woman, by the way. What are we doing here? And it's just stuff like that. Proud of excluding. Now, this isn't Cameron's sob story time, but I should have known long ago to just desert them. There was no point in me to keep trying to be a part of that. They didn't want me there. They were proud to not have me there. And there is a sick sense of enjoyment in people when they have an exclusive group and they have the power to exclude others. It's evil, but we all have it. All of us have an experience when we had power over people. We were able to exercise power by excluding people, and we all have enjoyed it. I don't know why we enjoy it. It's evil. It's sin. But we all enjoy excluding people when we have something exclusive, And so I don't know why. I just kept trying to be a part of them. I kept allowing them to make fun of me and use me as a punching bag for the under the guise of humor. No, they just wanted somebody to bully. I shouldn't have put up with it. And why did I wait? I could have done so much more stuff with my time. I could have actually developed good friendships, but I wasted all my energy on these people who just didn't deserve it. They didn't. And I still find myself wanting their approval because they hated me in high school. And now that we're all in college and we come back every now and then for the holidays, I go to a small group because we all go to the same church. I went to a small group with my girlfriend at the time, mind you, and that girl was there, the girl who kind of led that friend group back in the day, and I was there at this small group after church, and all she could do was just constantly insult me and degrade me the whole time. And it's like stupid petty stuff, like my girlfriend at the time was there with me, and she's calling me gay, and like what are we doing here? This is ridiculous. Just petty stuff like that. But yet there was still a part of me that was like, oh, I need her approval though. Like, I need to somehow change her opinion about me. You know, she needs to see, oh well, he's not so bad. Why did I ever treat him bad? No, 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 no. Because that's how it's always gonna be. That's how it always was. Because it was never about me, right? It was about her, you know. And every time I was insulted by these people, it was never because of. I mean, sometimes it was because of me. Right, like I would crash out. I was impulsive. It was a 50-50 whether or not I'd be fun to hang out with. But it comes down to their ego, and I was a really good ego boost for them, you know. And I was never gonna change that. So why did I waste so much energy, so much time? I could have spent that time and energy building an actual real relationship or friendship. But no, I wasted it on people who didn't deserve it. And so, if something seems off, have a conversation. If you feel like it's one-sided, have a conversation. Because, you know, the best way to tell whether or not a friendship is worth it is if you have a hard conversation about something. If it strengthens the friendship by the end, it's good. If it ends the friendship by the end, that it was never meant to be in the first place, you know? So that's kind of what gets me through. Definitely confrontation is a huge thing. Another thing too, I mean, there are ways to tell if somebody, before you even like build a connection, there are ways to tell if somebody is worth keeping around. A good method I have used in the past, I wish I would have found out earlier. If you're having people over at your place for the first time, your home, your apartment, whatever, your dorm, get a $20 bill and leave it on the coffee table in a spot that's subtle enough to where it's not obvious that you just left money there, but in a spot that's noticeable enough to where like people are going to see it. If you have people over for the first time, by the time they leave, if that $20 bill is still on the table, chances are they're pretty good. You know, you might want to keep them around. If that $20 is gone and it's not there, you know, $20 is a pretty cheap price to save you from a long time of somebody who's untrustworthy, you know, or a long relationship with somebody who's untrustworthy because they took that $20. That's something I wish I knew this past August when I had somebody over for the first time, and they ended up causing me a world of pain because they were just an awful human being, but I never knew. But they would have absolutely taken that 20. So, if you're listening to this, use that one in the future, for sure. So, you know, I guess the biggest thing for me right now is knowing when to let go. Because I have such a tendency to not want to let go of things. I want to have a lot of people in my corner. I want to have a lot of people around me. You know, I hate being alone. But, you know, a smaller group of friends that would all die for each other and that give everything for each other is way, way, way more beneficial than a large group of people who always have conflict and like to exclude people and start their own little... No. Smaller the friend group, the better, in my opinion. If you could have 1 to 2 or 3 friends, that's the way to go. Because that's less energy being spent on people who don't matter and who don't deserve it. Sometimes letting go is the best thing. And, you know, when you can give all your time and attention to somebody who actually gives the same amount back, man, it's so mentally freeing. You're not worrying about any of this stuff. It's just meaningless. And, you know, like, I hate this saying, but if they wanted to, they would, you know? And usually that's for girls to complain about their boyfriend not getting the flowers. But here, like, if they wanted to give you that, give you a call and say they're checking in on you, They would. If they wanted to include you in something, if they really wanted you there at trivia, they would respond to your text in the group chat. You know, I have a really close friend right now, and at the moment, I'm 2 states away for an internship. But he still makes time to hop on the game with me, hop on the phone. We had like a 40-minute phone call today. And then we played the game for like 3 hours once we got back at work, once we both got off work. And there's no shadow of doubt in my mind that he's just playing to keep me happy. Like, no, he enjoys playing with me. He enjoys decompressing with me. And we both enjoy decompressing with each other and spending that time together, even though we're 2 states away. And, you know, like, it's hard to find somebody who would actually do that for you and enjoy it, you know? And that's somebody you gotta hold on to. That's somebody I'm gonna hold on to for the rest of my life, man. Like, our kids are gonna be playing with each other. And that's that's awesome. And you know, like he and like 2 other people I would consider my close friends like that, and that's perfectly fine for me now. I don't need a million friends to be happy. Sometimes I still think I do, but I'm perfectly content with my 3. You know, and you should be too. Find yourself a good group of people that you could pour yourself into, because I've poured so much of myself into this guy, and he has given me the exact same amount back, and he actually cares. You know, I would die for him, and I know without a shadow of a doubt he would give his life for mine too. And that's just beautiful, man. Like, I wish I would have poured you know, I knew him in high school. I wish I would have poured this kind of energy into him sooner instead of wasting it on these stupid people that wouldn't even give me a text back and were proud of it, right? So, I guess I would encourage anybody who's listening to do the same. You know, evaluate all your friendships. Give them a real good evaluation, and determine whether or not they're worth the time and effort you're putting in. Are they really giving that same energy back? And if you think they're not, have some conversations. Either A, have a conversation, or B, just walk away and let go. Because if you walk away and let go, if they really, really wanted something out of you, they would pursue you, but just try to get something out of you. But if they really, really wanted that connection and valued you, they would pursue you and try to make things right. You know what I mean? They wouldn't ask for more of you. They would ask, what can they do? You know? If somebody wasn't worth it, they would just ask you for something. But if they were worth it, you know, if they were somebody that's worth keeping around, they would ask, what can I do to make this right? You know? That's a good way to tell. And you know, like, confrontation will either strengthen a good friendship or end a bad one. So don't be afraid to have confrontations. And that's me talking to myself too. And just most important takeaway here, man, like, know when to let go. Right? Know when to let go. Because ultimately, it is not until you stop pouring all this time and effort and energy into meaningless friendships that you're able to commit to a real one. And that's pretty fire of a quote, so I'm going to leave it there. Look, if this spoke to you, it touched you, hold on, no, I'm just kidding, but if this spoke to you and reached you, then I'm really, really happy for you, and I'm glad that me just self-reflecting was able to kind of open that up to you and make you realize, like, hey, I need to reevaluate some of these relationships I have. And if it didn't, you know, man, like, it's okay. I don't need to know that, though, because at the end of the day, this is for me to reflect upon myself and put it in a medium where people who are struggling with similar things can listen to somebody who's actively working that out, but also for me to listen back to when I'm struggling with this again. So, you know, comment if you feel like it, but at the end of the day, this is more for me than it is for you. And I don't say that to me, like, I don't say that to be, like, snarky or whatever, or to sound like a douche, but at the end of the day, like, this is just me getting my feelings and kind of airing out my problems and trying to talk through them. But yeah, that's all I have to say. If you made it this far, thank you so much for listening to me yap. And yeah, I guess next time I yap, I'll see you then. Peace.